pretty much on a daily basis, we're confronted with some transgender-related news, be it debates about our school systems, bathroom, locker room privacy, be it the latest news about Bruce/Caitlyn Jenner, be it a child that's being discussed and this child is transgender. We're confronted with this pretty much all the time. And one point I always make is this. I have compassion on people who struggle with gender identity. But if perception is reality, then the sky is the limit. If we have no way to verify biologically and chromosomally if someone is male or female, then really the sky's the limit. It's however I feel, or even however I feel at a given time. Here's a YouTube clip that demonstrates some of what I'm talking about.
Pansexuality refers to people who are attracted to people regardless of their gender identity or biological sex.
But identity isn't just about who you date.
It's about who you are. And for some people, that's not as simple as male or female.
Cisgender people are those whose identity matches the gender they were assigned at birth. It's what most people think of when they say gender.
Transgender people are people whose identity don't match the one that they were assigned at birth. And they may or may not have surgery to get their body in line with their identity.
But the gender box is getting even bigger.
Gender fluid and genderqueer people identify as 2 or more genders.
And may move between masculine and feminine presentations.
All these words can be dizzying, and we're just scratching the surface.
But in the end, it's simple. You do you.
Yeah, just scratching the surface. The gender box getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I don't play that to condemn these people. Jesus died for them the same as he died for me. And I'll say it again, if they're my next door neighbor, I'd be the best neighbor I could and love my neighbor as myself. That doesn't mean I have to embrace their perceptions. And if it's Jimmy one day and Jane the next and Jimmy and Jane the next and neither the next, I don't have to go along with that to love my neighbor. And we're not talking about someone who's intersex. We're not talking about someone with a biological or chromosomal ambiguity as to their gender. We're talking about someone who biologically and chromosomally is male or female and yet perceives themselves to be different. Now, how far does this go if we're not just if we're only scratching the surface with these varied identities that these folks are talking about and presenting yourself one way or another or going back and forth or going beyond the gender binary of male, female, how far can it go? Let me give you a sampling, just a list. I'm going to read some from a list here. Here's some of what you have. You have agender, you have agender flux, you have APORA gender, you have bigender, demi-boy, demi-gender, demi-girl. You have gender fluid, gender flux, genderless, gender neutral, gender queer, gender void.
You have intergender, you have polygender, you have vague gender, gender vague.
X-gender. That's just a tiny, tiny, tiny sampling. And some people want to be identified in multiple ways at the same time. I pray for these people. They are confused. I pray for these people because they somehow think that they are whatever they feel they are at any given moment and that defines reality. No, that doesn't define reality. That just expresses how somebody is feeling, and feelings and perceptions do not define reality. Listen, close the gender box, all right? Close it back up. God created us male and female, and there are some with ambiguities or abnormalities, but we don't turn the world upside down because of that, and we pray for those who are confused.